Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. Another great day to everybody out there. Once again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we yet again continue our journey together in the quest of being the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. And my friends, today we're talking about instant gratification. Really, I was chased down this rabbit hole. You know, it's something that I talk about quite a bit at work with our young aspiring professionals and teaching them patience, right? And teaching them to have a vision, a long-term goal, a long-term desired outcome, if you will. And sometimes the actions that we take today, I teach them, won't bear fruit until, metaphorically, tomorrow. It might be next week, next month, 6 months from now, 4 months from now, whatever it may. I think it's our natural tendency to want immediate and instant gratification, to see the fruits of our labors right away. Well, you know, my friends, sometimes it's actually hurting us the more that we crave that instant gratification. And quite frankly, it's not 100% our fault. There's some things that maybe we do on a regular basis, especially in today's society, that make us believe that instant gratification is the way that we want to be and to live our professional lives. And it just isn't that easy, nor should it be that way. There's a quote by a gentleman by the name of Mike Dooley. I don't know the gentleman. I haven't had time to research who he is, but he's quoted by saying, "The obsession with instant gratification blinds us from our long-term potential." And why are we here, everybody? To be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. To ultimately reach our full potential. So with that, we could be blinded with the desire, the craving of instant gratification. I was reading an article on Psychology Today, and I'll read an excerpt of it. It says, "An over-reliance on instant gratification behaviors can create problems by changing our brains, distracting us from more meaningful pursuits, and leading to destructive financial, social, and health outcomes." And while this should not be taken to mean we can't enjoy the conveniences of the modern world, we need to be more conscious about the context, frequency, and consequences of this type of decision-making. There is a struggle between short-term rewards and long-term goals, and it's battling back and forth. Our emotional brain responds to impulsive choices and urges, while our logical brain attempts to reason with us. More likely, we submit to the emotional brain and that quick fix. It is so important to recognize that, everybody. Kind of like that excerpt said, okay? This is not saying that we don't enjoy some of those conveniences or some of those short-term, benefits that we have, especially with modern-day technology, right? But we just have to be conscious and know where the pitfalls are. Understand that our brain is split into two, our emotional brain and our logical brain. And we just have to realize that sometimes if we pour everything into that emotional side of the brain, okay, we will miss the long-term vision. So there's things to look out for. Our desire to have our needs quickly met. Again, we have to just be cognizant of this. Our brains are constantly changing in response to what we do and things we pay attention to. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Okay? We've got a thirst or a request for information. So who do we ask? We ask Google. We ask Siri. Siri, Who was the fifth president of the United States? Boom, we've got the information right there. We see a TV commercial about of the latest and greatest Bluetooth headphone speakers. Boom, Amazon, pull it up. Boom, got it in the shopping cart, will be delivered tomorrow. We can't watch that TV show at 2 o'clock because we're tied up doing something else. So what do? We DVR it. So at 4 o'clock, boom, I've got it, ready to watch it. My relatives, and this is cool with technology, right? Now I've got family out of town. We can't see them, right? We can't, we long to be in their presence, but we can't see them for maybe another couple months. Holidays are coming up. Maybe it's the end of this month. So what do? Boom, FaceTime them. Instant gratification. So we just have to be careful. There's times in which we can lever some of these as benefits, and there's other times where we're doing too much of this. We are craving that instant gratification because it's our pattern, our behaviors that have trained our brain to want and desire this. So it has put a shadow over the desire for long-term goals and long-term benefits and long-term success. So speaking of which, another pitfall, the distraction from that long-term goal. It becomes all about right now. It disconnects us from that long-term vision and the short-term steps that are necessary to achieve that long-term goal. This hinders our long-term happiness because overall, when we're working at achieving a goal that sometimes takes a longer period of time, it makes us less happy. So that emotional brain we talked about is yet again another pitfall. We have to be careful because those quick fixes can be dangerous. Temptations that are built after an excessive amount of dopamine hits to the brain, okay, they become tough to break. I love an example of this is that, for any of us iPhone users out there, you know what I'm talking about, that now I get, probably maybe it was a year ago, I get these notifications, my screen time is up, my screen time is down, screen time this, screen time that, this percentage on social, this percentage on web, this percentage on music. Because what it's really trying to tell us, and I think why Apple introduced this, is because they realize that from a mental standpoint, it is not healthy to constantly have our nose in these devices. So the ultimate goal is to monitor how much time we are, wrapped up in these types of instant gratifications. These forms of instant gratifications. Because overall, too much time, we are training that brain. Afterwards, our logical brain kicks in with the awareness of the consequences, and then regret sets in, right? So we crave that instant now, and then sometimes those decisions we make based on emotion, we look back at it logically, and then maybe we have some regrets about that. So what can we do about this? Understanding that this is the thing, well, I think the first order of business is we can just be, again, more aware that this is a real thing, and especially in today's technological age. Okay, just be aware and be conscious. And then another thing that we can do is aim for long-term goals, and that starts with setting them. The process is filled with tiny lessons that make you better. Personal growth is on the other side of hard work. Hard work just doesn't happen overnight, and it's not get in and get out, right? That's not, it might be hard for a short term, but real success and growth is built over time. And if we're constantly living only in the right now, we're going to miss out on those tiny little lessons. So another benefit is to embrace delayed gratification. Choosing discomfort now over the ease of temporary distractions will ultimately get us better long-term results. So be grateful for that. So set goals that are sometimes a little bit more of a delayed form of gratification. Instant is a little bit subjective. Instant is really ultimately a unrealistic short amount of time relative to the work that is required to get the results that you want, right? So what I teach sales consultants is that, sometimes when we're prospecting future business, it comes down to making phone calls to start building a relationship first. Then ultimately, they lead into future business and turn into a future prospect and future client. But sometimes that's months down the road. But the work starts now in building that relationship, right? It's not about who can I call today to make them a client today. That can happen, but embrace putting all of the work in, even if the fruit doesn't show itself for some time down the road. My friends, this is a process. It's not about production. Enjoy that journey. And if we trust that process, lean into the difficult times, we will get what it is we want. So everybody, you see, it's important to have a short-term and long-term vision. Know what it is that you want. Know what it is accomplishable in the short term, and know what needs a little bit more time to be accomplished. Don't only live in the short term, and don't only live in the long term. Have both. We can have our cake and eat it too, but just be aware. Just be mindful. Just be conscientious. Everybody, there's a lot of pitfalls out there. Today's day and age is a world of distractions. Notifications here, pinging here, emails here. Texting while driving is a serious issue right now. Why? Because we just can't wait. We don't have patience. We got to always be plugged in. My friends, disconnect every now and then. Unplug. Be mindful. Take some time, like we talked about last week. Reflect. And know that there's a lot of work that has to be done and a lot of learning and growth to be had. Just another great topic today, everybody. Hope you got out of this episode as much as I did. And listen, it's a journey. Journey never ends, right? We sprint to the finish line. Everybody, listen. Have a great rest of your day, a phenomenal rest of your week. And next time, we'll see you back right here. Appreciate you, everybody. Take care.